Welcome back to another episode of Interstorm Games Presents. My name is Richard Cree, and we're doing currently doing a gameplay through the solo mode of Conquest of Planet Earth by Flying Frog Productions. Thank you for joining us on this roller coaster, because it's definitely had its ups and downs so far. Before we get into the gameplay today, a couple of things I'd like to point out. One, as a rules, clarification, is on the draw phase, you are able to discard a single card, one card, and replace it with one from the draw deck. So if you hear me say I don't want to discard anything, that's what that's doing. I don't think I made that clear in the rules video, so I may go back and correct that. The other is a personal error. I'm going to apologize now for my short-term memory that will sometimes forget that the resistance has various effects that will apply to their fight rolls and their strength during the fights. I do correct those in the text during editing. Was able to catch them during editing. They're corrected, so the text will be correct. The spoken word, however, will be incorrect. Don't listen to what I say. Listen to what I type on the screen. And just finally, I want to give a big thank you to Flip Movie Maker, who provided us the suggested move for today's video to get us started off with. And so then, let's stop looking and listening at me. Let's go to the game board. Alright, here we are back at the board. We are going into the action phase for turn 4. And as you remember, we had our 2 action points, and our suggestion came from Flip Movie Maker. Since we only have 2 action points to spend, Flip Movie Maker suggested that we take those points and use one of them to move our last spaceship from our landing zone up to the military base with all of our other ships, and then also to spend our last remaining action point on Gear Up to draw another Space Stuff card, and hopefully we'll get something worthwhile. While drawing a Space Stuff card, we got, this could be very much worthwhile, a giant robot. It's another ally. His ability is that he allows us to use 1 Alien Menace token to prevent the giant robot from being destroyed, or to add +1 strength to the giant robot until the end of the current fight. So what we'll first do is I'll go to the box and I will get the giant alien out. That's 2 allies for us. That's great. That is simply great. So thank you, Flip Movie Maker, for that. We're going to need extra bodies on the board. Try and get some extra locations. So there is Giant Robot, and that ends our action phase. Although I think in addition to this, because Giant Robot uses Alien Menace tokens to activate his abilities, I'm going to go ahead and discard the Rhaegar. Woo, it's hard to read upside down sometimes. The Rhaegar Thought Probe. I'm going to go ahead and discard that and take the 2 Alien Menace tokens from that, because one of the options for Rhaegar Thought Probe is to discard at any time to immediately gain 2 Alien Menace tokens. So I'll place those right there. The other options were to either, 1, look at another player's hand, and we don't have another player, so that option doesn't really work for us, or to win a fight on a tie result, which with our Battle Prowess ability, we can do that already. Let's go ahead and just discard the Thought Probe. Alright, that ends our action phase, and that will bring us to the battle phase. Well, once again, we're not engaged with any resistance. We're not at any locations that would cause us to have to fight resistance. We don't have any resistance counters on our location that would cause us to fight resistance. So that will take us directly to the draw phase. And again, there are no cards I wish to discard, because I like those cards we have. Those can be very, very useful. So we'll just draw 1 more event card to bring us up to a 4. And this is going to be another action point cost card. That's an event. The event is Rebuild. We'll be able to pay 1 action point to either remove a conquest marker from a location with no aliens there, which we don't need to do that because we're not playing the competitive mode. Or, we can play to remove a demolish marker from a location. Well, that will help immensely because we can play that later, possibly to remove that demolish token for the military base that got nuked last video in turn 2. Alright, so that went pretty well for us. The alien phase went pretty well. We got another ally. That rebuild card can really help us later on. But now we're over to the resistance phase. This phase always scares me. So as always in the resistance phase, we're going to start by drawing a resistance event card. So we'll draw one here. And it's the arms race. It's going to remain in play. And while this is in play, we're going to roll an extra die for tech breakthrough each turn during the resistance phase. I don't know if I really like that. But as I place this down, I'm going to remove prepared defenses because prepared defenses only lasted until the start of the next resistance phase. So the +2 resistance that they would get is now no longer in effect. So we'll go ahead and discard that one. But arms race is in effect and will remain in play for the rest of the game. Alright. Next we check for location liberation. And again, we have no locations currently that have been conquered, so there is no need to liberate them. There's also no resistance on a location that would be capable of liberating it. So next we'll move the human tech track, and we'll move to 5. And 5 is a red circle, and so that means we're going to take 2 random resistance counters and add them to the board. So there's our resistance counters. We'll do our lower location first. Now I will roll a dice. A 2. We're still plagued by 2s for some reason. Probably the magnetic pull under my house is pulling a 5 downward, therefore causing us to roll a 2 each time. Alright, well that means we are going to place tanks here on the military base. Now this is not good because the tanks will not move at all. We will have to have a fight with them and they're going to be bonused up, but we do have all our forces there, so that should be a pretty handy win unless they roll a 6. So that's bad, but that's not really bad. For the next one, we're going to roll again a 4. And the 4 location is over here, and those will be fighter planes. Strength 6 fighter planes, and they will move. And that's fine because we're at step 4 in the resistance phase, the move phase. So we'll roll to see where those fighter planes end up. And they're going to fly to the 1 position, which is over here with the helicopters. Next we will resolve any barrage. We don't have any resistance counters with the barrage ability on the board at this time. And so that will take us to roll for tech breakthrough. Alright, we are going to roll 5 dice for the human tech track, but because of the arms race, we're going to add an additional dice. So we'll be rolling 6 dice, and maybe they'll all come up 2s. If we do roll a 6 on any of those dice, we're going to have to draw another card from the human tech deck. There we go, the dice. Wow, look at all those 6. There is a 2. 2 6s. So even though we roll 2 6s, we're only going to draw 1 tech track card. So, human tech being drawn. Guided missiles. All airborne resistance, including resistance counters, now have the barrage ability. This does not apply to Captain Fantastic. Alright, so that's going to include helicopters, fighter planes, paratroopers. Ouch. Alright, they all now have the barrage ability, and that's going to be very painful next turn. So I'll have to be very wary being adjacent to those resistance counters, or if we can't defeat them before that. Alright, so all in all, not too bad of a resistance phase. No atomic bomb was dropped. That's always a good thing. And that will take us back to... this will take us into turn 5. This will be the turn 5 command phase. So we're going to go ahead and roll the dice and see how many action points we have to spend in our action phase. Anything but a 2. A 5! Alright, that is awesome. That's great. Now that we have that many action points this whole game. So 5 action points to spend. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, let's start by moving 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 ships here, and we'll move our robot up 1. I don't want him adjacent to those paratroopers because they both now have the barrage ability. So I want to move him away from that. And that will leave us no action points. All action points spent with 3 spaceships and Warlord Kazbak in this space with the tanks. Alright, I think I'm happy with that move. I thought about spending 1 to go ahead and spend rebuild to remove that demolish marker, but that would mean we'd have to have a total of 4 fights there, 1 against the tanks, plus 3 more to regain the military base for only 1 point. So, depending on how things go the rest of the game, we may come back and revisit that option, but I think we'll be better served marching forward, trying to gain the 5 points from the capital city, plus any other location cards that might come up. So with that being said, let's go to the battle phase and draw a location card. Well, alright, it was the forest. Let me get all this stuff placed on here. Alright, so the forest has a 0 resistance, but it's also 0 population. There are tanks here though, so we'll have to fight those tanks. And we'll also have to have a fight with the tanks back here at the military base. Alright, so let's do the battle at the forest first. So we will start with our strength of, we have 9 plus 5 for Warlord Kazbak. And so that will be a total of 14 for the Fishermen of Atlarak versus the 5 for the tanks, but we still have to roll the dice, and if the resistance rolls a 6, they'll have a crushing victory against us. Let's roll and see what happens. No, we had a 6, they had a 5, so we had the crushing victory, and those tanks are gone. And actually those tanks, by the way, yes, I know, I hear you saying they're not a strength 5, they're actually a strength 6, and actually they're a strength 7. They're a strength, they get add +1 for atomic shells, which makes them a 6, because they're tank resistance. But because they're a military resistance counter, or because they're a resistance counter, mind you, reverse engineering kicks in, so they would again had a 7, but our crushing victory defeats them no matter what. So we'll take those tanks away, put them back into the pool, and we'll move down to the military base. And because there's tanks there, again, these are strength 7 tanks, and we have a strength 3 with our spaceship and a strength 4 with our giant robot. So we shall roll the dice, and right now it's a roll-off. So we'll see what happens here. And again, we win. We are the red dice. And so we have a 5, which gives us a total of 12, to the 2, which gives us the resistance total of 9. So those tanks are wiped out. Alright. So that's a good battle phase for us. No more battles to contemplate. And so we shall move on again then to the draw phase. And so we spent no cards. Again, I don't wish to discard any at this time. So we will not draw any new cards, and that will take us to the dreaded resistance phase. Alright, the turn 5 resistance phase. Excuse me. So we'll start by drawing a resistance event card. Total destruction. That can't be good. Until the start of the next resistance phase, anytime a conquest marker is placed, roll a d6. On a roll of 1 or 2, place a demolish marker instead. Well, now I'm really glad that we held on to that rebuild card, because we may end up needing that. So we'll place this over here again with all the effects. At least this one's only until the start of the next resistance phase, so it's not going to affect our next battle phase. That's good. Checking for location liberation. Again, we control no locations. There's so far a total of this area is demolished, it does still offer a 0 population point, so we don't really control it. We don't control the electric power plant, we don't control Capital City, and there's no resistance counters on empty locations that could be liberated. So we shall move forward, and actually the check for liberation would only be on locations like we're here, so these could not be liberated because we still have pieces there. It would have to be on the mountain range, which couldn't be liberated because it offers 0. Electric power plant, we don't have anybody. Capital City, we don't have anybody, but there's also no resistance counters in those locations either. Alright, let's move the tech track to 6. This is a non-red circle, so we're not going to add any new resistance counters. We will have to check our planes to see where our planes are going to, because they could move. And they rolled a 5. They're going to move to space 5, which is right where we are. Okay, this is not great, because now we move to the barrage. And the resistance barrage, because of, which one did it go? Oh, guided missiles. Because of the human tech card guided missiles, the planes now have the barrage ability. And because of atomic shells, their barrage will hit on a 1, 2, or 3. And what really makes this frustrating is that not only are the aliens in the forest, but the military base is now adjacent to the fighter plane, so he's going to hit all of our aliens and our allies with this one barrage. So let's just get to it. I'm going to roll 6 dice. Actually, no, I'm going to do this separately. I'm going to roll 4 dice for our first location, and I'll roll 2 additional dice for the military base. And on a 1, 2, or 3, we got to take something off. Wow, losing 2 spaceships from the forest. Go ahead and take those off here. And I'm going to roll 2 more dice for the military base. Let's roll high. And we're going to lose 1 more alien spaceship from there. Wow, the resistance are getting pesky. Well, this is everything. Seems to be going well. The resistance is fighting back. And now on top of all of that, it is the human tech track is at 6. And because of the arms race, we're going to have to add an additional dice. We'll be rolling 7 dice. And hoping for anything but a 6 on these dice. The way I've been rolling, that could be possible. But if we do roll a 6 on any of these dice, we're going to draw another human tech card. Whew, things are not going well for the aliens here. Wow, all that and A16. There it is right there. Alright, well, let's get these dice out of the way. I'm drawing another human tech card. This one is Advanced Communications. For Advanced Communications, all resistance and resistance counters gain X to their strength total, where X is the resistance value of the current location. Okay, so that means in the capital city a 3, or military base also a 3. Electric power plant, they would add a 1 to the overall strength total. We'll just throw that over there. And this is getting very, very interesting. We're at human tech track level 6. That means there's 4, at the most, 4 more turns in the game. When the tech track reaches 10, the resistance will have built those super cannon and destroyed our mothership. And wow, things that were going so well suddenly went so wrong. Alright, well, we're into turn 6 now. We're at the turn 6, we're top of the turn 6 with the command phase. So let's roll and see how many action points we have to spend. Again, 5 or 6 would be great here. And another 2. Alright, well, that's 2 action points again. I apologize to everybody out there for my rolling. I think I'm going to see if I can get Piper back in here with us next time and let her do the rolling for us. She might have better luck. We'll go ahead and start, though, by bringing back all of our alien spaceships. We do have endless waves in play, and so we can bring those back for free. So that's not going to cost us any action points. So with the board as it is, and knowing that we have our 2 allies, and our resistance counters where they are, and only 2 action points to spend, I will look to you once again for any assistance and suggestions. I have a few things in mind that we can do to progress, but we're running short on time, and we have, like I said, at the max 4 turns left. We could draw some more event cards that make us move the tech track forward again. That will shorten the time we have. But until then, thanks a lot. Even though it seems like we're not doing well, I really am having a blast doing this, and I appreciate everyone out there who's tuning in and watching. I appreciate that, and thank you for all the suggestions and the comments. And if you haven't gone and checked out flyingfrog.net, go check it out. They're the ones that publish Conquest of Planet Earth, and also for us, Interstorm Games Presents. You can check our website, www.interstormgames.com. You can go, we have a Facebook page. You can go like our Facebook page and see what's going on with us there. We put some posts out there frequently, usually about the video series, sometimes about some of our other things we have going on. And also you can follow us on Twitter. And we send out tweets occasionally, probably not as often as we update the Facebook page, but I do try and send out some tweets to let you know when videos are posted, or again for other event-related activities that we have going on. Until then, though, just thank you very much for watching, and again, I appreciate the support, and we'll see you again in about a week or so. Thank you very much.